Hello and welcome to our podcast where I will discuss about issues that our society is facing nowadays. This week I will be talking about the effect of sleep on our mental health. I will discuss about the biology of sleep, how our brain works when sleeping, and why sleep is very important for our mental health. I will dig deep into my own sleep habit and my understanding of sleep. Homework assignments, presentations, lab reports, research papers, exams and quizzes or relationships. These are some very familiar words for college students like me. They are very crucial for our academic success. They all require my time, motivation, attention, and focus to work on. At the same time, how well I can pay attention or have the motivation to do anything really depends on my mental health, including anxiety and depression, just to name a few. Talking about anxiety, in 2018, 50% of students named anxiety as the main reason to seek counseling services. And in 2019, the number increased to 62.7% of 82,685 students, according to the Center for Collegiate Mental Health 2019 annual report. 2020 was a strange year. All of a sudden, COVID-19 hit the world, we went to lockdown and all my classes turned online in March of 2020. All of the social activities were cancelled and my bedroom became my classroom. My computer became one of my closest friends. And it has been reported that the sheltering in place due to COVID-19 pandemic has negatively affected our mental health. According to a study by Texas A&M University, 71% out of 195 student participants reported the stress and anxiety caused by COVID-19. In the same report, 89% of the participants reported difficulty with concentration due to distraction. 86% reported of an increase in social isolation and 44% experienced depressive thoughts. 8% had suicidal thoughts. 168 out of 195 participants had changed their sleep patterns due to COVID-19. 38% out of 168 students stated to a severe disruptive of sleep patterns, and 50 of those were willing to stay up late and wake up late in the morning. It is also reported that their sleep schedule became irregular, and the time they go to bed and wake up became very inconsistent. For me, I believe that the change in sleep patterns and consistency might have caused the mental issues that were reported. Our brain, sleep, and mental health work closely together. Our sleep affects our brain and our brain controls our mental health, while mental health also negatively affects our sleep pattern. How much we get rested and sleep would greatly affect our brain functions, and therefore sleep could cause some severe mental health issues. Ensuring that my brain is well rested is like recharging my phone or computer, or else they would be dead. In my case, it will affect my ability to pay attention and have the motivation to do the works needed. So instead of recharging my brain with electricity, I recharge my brain through sleeping. Now, to understand that, we will need to understand some biology. Sleep allows our mind to get rested and process the information and store them in our memory. Our mind would not be able to work properly without proper sleep. And if we continue without proper sleep, our mind could become so deprived that it breaks down and affects the entire body. Now, according to the Primary Care Collaborative website, or PCC in short, sleep is the time that our mind reserves for mental processing. It allows our memories, emotions, and new information to process and file away so that our mind is ready for a new day. Although It is hard to explain how our mental health and sleep are related, but there are some mechanisms that happen during sleep to link to our mental health together. During the day, our brain thinks, collect information, and respond to anything that happens to us. When we sleep, our brain does not have to create any response, which that allow it to process the information and store them. For me, I tend to care less and more sensitive and respond to things very impulsively when I do not get enough sleep. Now, biologically speaking, these responses are created by amygdala and prefrontal cortex. Every cerebral hemisphere has this gray matter called amygdala. It is famous for its fight or flight response, so it controls our emotional responses. Sleep is the set time for amygdala to process our emotion correctly. Without sleep, amygdala becomes over-deprived, and this will cause our immediate emotional response to intensify and react faster than normal. According to an MRI brain scan study, the data shows that amygdala is 60% more emotionally reactive in sleep-deprived participants comparing to the well-rested participants. It was noted that negative and positive emotions intensify with the lack of sleep. On the other hand, our prefrontal cortex provides reasons to our emotion. In other words, when the amygdala is being a diva, our prefrontal cortex will put a brake to that. It helps control our impulses. The lack of sleep decreases the ability of prefrontal cortex to communicate with amygdala. That means without proper sleep, prefrontal cortex cannot do its job properly. As a result, we are more impulsive and less likely to think and process our emotional responses. To other people, it comes out as an act of mood swings, erratic behavior, and overreact to certain things. This in fact will make us emotionally unstable and cause anxiety and depression, which could lead to a more severe mental issue. Similarly, the chemical balance in our brain allows the brain to function properly. Not getting enough sleep will result in chemical imbalance in our brain. One of the most vulnerable chemicals in our body is hormones. Our hormones affect our immunity, healing, growth, weight, and more. Hormones also influence our mood. Hormones are responsible for delivering information across the body. The lack of sleep will interrupt the communication between the brain and its messenger. As a result, our hormones act incorrectly or deliver misinformation to the body, which put our mental health at a very high risk. When we sleep, our glands produce hormones. Hypothalamus is responsible for hormones balance in our body. During sleep, hypothalamus gives critical instructions to the body. It tells the glands in our endocrine system when and what hormones to produce, when to regulate others, and it tells hormones what messages to communicate to the body and when. Some glands of endocrine system receive the information from hypothalamus. If we do not sleep, hypothalamus cannot tell those glands to produce hormones needed for our body. Therefore, our hormones become imbalanced and our body falls into chaos. As a result, our body will try to find the homeostasis again. Cortisol is a hormone that impacts our stress level, which has a huge impact on our mental health. The pituitary gland regulates the adrenal glands in production of cortisol steroid hormone. These hormones keep us alert and be responsive. The right amount of cortisol level is very important for our body. Why? Because this hormone is called stress hormone. If you do not sleep, cortisol will be overproduced, then our body will be under constant stress and unable to relax. This will result in weight gain, the inability to control our emotions, and impaired thinking. This stress and sleep deprivation will put us in a negative feedback loop, which then will result in depressive disorder, anxiety disorder, and mood disorder. In short, the lack of sleep will increase cortisol, which put our stress at a higher level, therefore causing high anxiety and become hypersensitive to physical, emotional, and mental stimuli. Moreover, sleep will make us feel exhausted and tired. This will affect our ability to exercise, which is an important way to reduce stress, depression, and anxiety. Looking back to myself, on average, I normally get about 6 hours of sleep per day. And the time that I go to bed really depends on how busy my schedule was and how quick I could get all my works done for tomorrow or for the day. At the same time, I would only go to bed when I felt sleepy, although I could go to bed earlier. So that's because I thought it would be a waste of my time just to lay in bed for hours until I fall asleep. I often drank water before going to bed, and very often that I would wake up at night to use the bathroom. My wake up time also varied depends on my schedule. I would take a nap sometimes during the day, depends on my availability. Over the weekend, I would stay up very late, and then I would also sleep in and wake up very late too. So I usually got more sleep over the weekend than during the weekdays. With some understanding of how important sleep is for my mental health, in the past few weeks, I have challenged myself to get at least 8 consecutive hours of sleep per day, no matter how busy my schedule is. It is the recommended amount of sleep for an adult by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And so I set the alarm to remind me of when I should get ready to go to bed. When I get to bed, I set my timer for 10 minutes for meditation before actually going to sleep. During meditation, I bring my mind to focus on only my breathing by observing the air entering to my nose and then to my lung and leaving my lung up to my nose. This meditation is to help calming me down and get myself ready for bed. It has been 20 days that I started my new sleeping habit, and I have noticed some changes which I will present to you next week. I hope you learn about sleep, mental health issues, and how sleep affects our mental health from my podcast. I thank you for listening, and I hope you will come back for my future podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and respectfully share your opinions in the comment section below. And remember, never stop learning and sharing.